This episode of the Inside Running Podcast is brought to you by Blackroll, innovation leaders for simple but effective tools, improving recovery, activation, and sleep for better performance in sport and everyday life. Available now at blackroll.com.au. Check out the running collection on their web store.
That your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place? Under cover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking.
Welcome to episode 265 of the Inside Running Podcast. It's been a relatively quiet week in the world of running, but we have all the regular segments to keep you entertained. Plus, you get to hear from two blokes who are ranked in the top 50 fastest Australian marathons of all time. My first co-host is ranked 46th with his 2:14.42, putting him just one spot behind Shoe Geek's co-host, Tom DeCanto. Welcome, Julian Spence. How are you, Moose?
Oh, I'm getting lower, I reckon. Getting lower every month, but thank you. That is it's always a bit of banter on the Shoe Geeks podcast because 1 second I think Tommy has me by.
He does. I thought I'd get a bit more of a bite out of you having Tommy there one spot above you.
And who knows? I stopped my watch a bit right on the line. I reckon Japanese timing system might not have been that good that day.
How long do you reckon you got till you're outside the top 50?
Well, who's running this weekend? We have Toby, Brady. Already Goddard's in front of me. Brett's in front of me. Who else is running that we know of from Australia?
No one for the rest of this year, I don't think.
I reckon I'm safe for another week, but maybe
I reckon you've got 6 months.
6 months.
No, you've got this year covered, I reckon.
Need another pandemic, to be honest. That wouldn't hurt me too bad.
Yeah, I reckon that helped everyone a little bit.
Could go a pandemic.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to the other co-host who has a marathon PB of 2:12.23, placing him equal 26th on the Australian rankings, alongside 2012 Olympian Marty Dent. He's a Com Games representative, multiple Australian cross-country champ, and the Bendigo Bats pin-up boy. Welcome back to the Inside Running Podcast, Andy Buchanan.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me on again. Moose, I was thinking, who would be 2 spots in front of you?
Oh, Jesus.
Wouldn't be Nick Earl, would it?
Oh, yeah. No, he's not Australian. Fuck off.
No, he's not on the Aussie. He's not on the Aussie rankings.
He's not even close to Australian. There's no way we would let him in this country, and have him sign up.
I'd sponsor him just so he can be ahead of you.
Good work, Andy. That is a name that will get Moose to bite.
Well, you two blokes would get on real well, I reckon. You and Nick. I reckon you two blokes on a plane together, just hanging out at a race hotel. Sign you blokes up for a lot of time spent together, a lot of good chat between you two.
Tell you what's funny, my earliest memory of Nick Earl is doing Lakeside 10 one day, like the AV race, and in the lead group, just rolling along, and there's this bloke who sounds like he's dying, and I'm like, who is this bloke? I'd never seen him before, and it was Nick Earl. And now looking back, it all just makes sense because you know how he makes that groaning and that moaning, and he was just doing that for I reckon he's doing it for 7K of this 10K race. And I thought, who is this flog? And now I just know it's just Nick Earl. But
he carries on, doesn't he?
He does.
My first memory was on a run in Ballarat, and Nath Hardigan telling me about how he was running one of them races, that one in Melbourne, City to Babe, was it?
Yeah.
Or
probably.
One
City
of them.
City to Sea.
City to Sea. Yeah, something like that. And he crossed the line, and this bloke behind him comes up to him, shakes his hand, and goes, "Oh, mate, 2-1 now." And Nate's like, who the fuck is this guy? He's like, 2-1, yep, you've beaten me twice and I beat you that other time.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
All right, enough Nick Earl talk. He'll be loving this if he's listening. Andy, we had you on about a month ago. What's been happening since we last had you on?
Yeah, so just a fair bit of work, a bit of school, fair bit of running actually, because I just come off a bit of a break, I think, from memory. I think I had 2 weeks off and then I just started running back again when I was on. So fair bit of training. Did a 3K race, which was good fun.
Tailed up by a few juniors.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So I went down there just to see if I was still eager to race around the track. Like, it's just a different type of racing compared to road racing, and I just wanted to see if I still enjoyed it. And I actually normally I'd be livid if I got like out kicked in the last 200, but I was still a bit annoyed, but I was okay with it. Like that's those boys' bread and butter. Like they should be rolling me, and so I just enjoyed racing really, which it was good fun, and just been training, fair bit of training, nothing too exciting really of note over the last month. Finally enjoying some warm weather, which is good.
Why didn't we see you at the Vic 5K champs?
Yeah, I actually forgot about them, and I just thought, I'll do a 3K, because a 3K you can kind of roll out and it doesn't really bang you up too much. It's pretty short distance, whereas 5K, I feel like it's just that little bit harder, and I didn't want to do a 3K than a 5K because I purely just wanted to do one track race. I actually fully forgot about Vic 5K champs, and I prefer milers. So
forgot about him about 10 seconds after finishing that 3K. Just had some amnesia come on.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing anything this short ever again.
I reckon the 3K leading into the 5's perfect, because it then makes the first 3K of the 5 feel pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It's just, I don't know, doing races all the time just gets in the way of training. And like for me, you've got to drive 2 hours, and like the races are pretty late. So I just I wanted to do that 3K, that Vic Milers, and it was essentially my decider is, do I want to do Zatopek or do I just keep training through to World Cross trials? And that's kind of like, I did it and I was like, yep, I'm happy. All right, let's plan towards Zatopek. And then, whereas if I didn't enjoy it, I would have just got back into good training really. So
it sort of works out pretty well, Zatopek, doesn't it? Like, how far? About a month before World Cross?
Yeah, well,
the trials.
Yeah, I think it'll be nearly bang on a month actually. So it's it is good timing, and I find, for me personally, I like having some races before big races, because it, like at the moment, a lot of when I'm thinking about races, I'm actually thinking about Zatopek rather than thinking about World Cross, and that's what I've done in the marathon before, where you know what it's like when you have a marathon and you plan it for half a year and that's all you think about. I think you can run the race too many times in your head. So yeah, I quite like having those little races before the bigger races.
Did you find the 3K brought your training up a little bit? It's like a real hard effort?
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to be harder than what it was. I thought I was going to feel that first lap and be like, holy shit, my legs are not there. But I actually felt pretty good throughout, and that's why I made a bit of a move with 3 laps to go, because I was kind of like, I'm pretty keen to keep this pretty honest. But then I've been doing a bit of track stuff in the last few weeks and been feeling pretty good and kind of rolling along. Like tonight I did a fair bit of stuff and then like a mile in 67s, and 67s felt pretty comfortable, whereas I think previously before this I wouldn't have been able to do a mile straight at that. So I think it definitely did bring it up. But yeah, I think this is probably the most anyone's ever spoken about a 3rd place at a Vic Milers. So we better.
8:11 was it? Was it 8:11?
I think it was 8:11. Yeah.
To be honest, it was my favourite 3rd place at a Vic Milers ever.
Thanks, Moose. I knew you'd be cheering on from home.
Oh yeah, the chat group was going off.
I reckon you would take an 8:11, Moose.
Don't worry about time, mate. 3rd place. That's all we worry about. No, it's good to see an old marathon boy on the track.
Old, jeez.
Yeah, well, you are a veteran now. You're racing against kids that you probably taught last year.
Yes, that is true. Yes. Yeah, I'll pay that. But no, I don't know. I just want to get down there and have a race. I think too many people just hide away. They say, no, I'm a marathoner, I only do marathons, whereas I don't know, I'm not about that. So it was good fun.
Do you want to take us through your last week? I've got your Strava open here. It looks like you clocked off 149K.
Yeah, so pretty good week. I'm not really too focused on Ks at the moment. Just kind of ticking along, and it is what it is, and just focusing on 2 good sessions. So Monday was pretty chilled, just did a bit over an hour, so just short of 14K, just through the bush. I actually ran at Macedon the Sunday, the day before this, so I was pretty keen just to take it easy.
What do you run there for? Is that close?
No, it's about an hour. So, just decided to run with, Simon Hands. He lives just in Woodend there, and we often run together, and he's never been game to run Macedon. And I was just like, I'm doing Macedon. And he's like, yep, I'm actually in. So I just love it. Like, have you done the loop there, Moose?
I've done a loop. I ran one loop. I did a couple of loops. So one time I ran up the cross, and the other time I ran up the road from the town.
Okay,
Which way did you go up?
Yeah, so we went to the cross, and then you go around to the Camel's Hump.
Yeah.
And then you go around.
You parked at the cross, or you ran up from the bottom?
No, parked at the bottom of the cross.
Oh, yeah.
So you run up to the cross and
up
then
the
around.
Track.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough.
And then it is actually.
Have you seen this, Moose, on his Strava?
Well, I've been up that trail, so I know.
The 4th K had 203 metres of elevation.
Yeah.
I knew this would get brought up.
That's a hike, though.
That is a hike.
So, yeah, it's a really good spot to run, and up around the top where the lake is, I highly recommend anyone to go there. And I actually ran with Seamus O'Dwyer as well, so he'll like that little plug there. So Monday was pretty easy. Tuesday morning just got out with the kids. That was 5K. And then had a big session at the lake with the bats, which was good on Tuesday afternoon. Had a few new training partners this week, which was good. So I had Rose Davies. So she's staying with me for the month, leading up to Zatopek. So she was there, which was good. And she seems to bring a fair few people out. I think a lot of people want to run with a Olympian. So we had a big group, and actually had a Chuka Moama's premium athlete come down and join us. So Archie was with us, which was good. So we did 9K. The brief was to make one fast, and we kind of decided that'd be the 7th. But then Archie kind of led the last rep, and it was a bit of you can tell he trained with Brady a fair bit, because we actually ran the same pace for the last one. So we did, these were off a minute. We did 257, 257, 253, 253, 252, 254, 247, 251, then 247. So that was a pretty good session. Pretty comfortable there, feeling pretty good. Nice weather, but yeah, Archie in that last one, he just goes to the front and puts these little surges in, and he was fanging it in that last rep. So, but I suppose that's what you get when you train with Brady all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But that was good group there. And then Wednesday morning just got out for our Wildflower Wednesday, which was good. Another good group, just did 20K, pretty cruisy, like 440 pace. It's pretty, like, I don't know if you guys, because we do a late Tuesday night session, so you're kind of training at 4:30, so you kind of finish at 6:30. Then by the time you come home, have dinner, and then I run at 6:30 Wednesday morning. So it's actually pretty hard, that, and it's always like that medium long run. It's pretty tricky on that Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
it's rough.
Yeah, I think it's the roughest turnaround of the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
So we just take that pretty easy. So that was 20.5K, hour 36, just 440s. Ran the whole way with Rose, which was good, and a few others, heaps of boys on that loop. Thursday morning, just ran with the kids, and then actually got a massage and had a bit of stuff at school. So it was a pretty low mileage day for me. I got out for not even 30 minutes, 6.3K Thursday afternoon, in between some work stuff and a massage with Benny Stoltz. So that was, I don't know, like, I probably could have ran after my massage, but I was just like, well, what am I going to get from running an extra like 5 or 6K when I've just gone and got a massage, it's probably going to undo a fair bit of that. And it's just going to be like running. Then I'm going to be late home, have late dinner, probably get a shit night's sleep. So I just kind of decided like 6.5K, that's far enough. I'm not going to get much fitness gains from, say, waiting an hour than doing like 10 or 12K like I normally would. So Friday morning, what did we do? We did hills, thresh. So this was actually good fun. It was those mornings when you just get up and it's like that little bit of a chill in the air, but it's not cold, it's not hot, it's perfectly still, and you're like, I'm actually really keen to get running. That's what it was like on this day. And we've got a really nice grass oval in town. It's footy. During winter, it's all about footy and it's pretty long grass and not great nick. But then summer, it turns into a cricket oval and they keep the grass really nice and short. So it's actually perfect for running on. So we did 6 by 1 minute hills. Then you kind of jog to the oval. We did a 3K thresh, then jog back to the hills, do 6 by minute again, and then a 3K thresh. So my 3K times were 9:16 and 8:53. So kind of cruising along there pretty well. It's it's the GPS around the oval is quite interesting because sometimes it's way off, but we actually put a wheel around it and it's 480 around the outside. So we kind of roughly know that it's you're kind of doing, it's about a 500 meter loop. So it's, the GPS.
Run lines? You got lines or cones out?
Nah, we just kind of run that kind of meter in from the fence. So it's not, it's like it's, you take
we put a wheel on it, but we run
the
a
wheel
line
around the
well, you know what it's like. Sometimes you get like on the track and your watch is way off, and I just wanted to roughly know. And then if I'm doing a 3K thresh, it actually doesn't really matter if it's because you're just running to effort, Whereas if we're doing K reps, I actually kind of know where I should be starting and finishing and that kind of stuff. But hey, if it adds a bit of mayo, it's just a bit of extra confidence. That's how it works, yeah?
Yeah.
I got a question though.
Yeah.
How can you run a thresh? Like you've said thresh, right?
Yep.
3K at 9:16, that's when you're a bit fresher. So you'd imagine your heart rate might be a bit lower. Your last rep, when you've done thresh and you've done 12 by a minute hill, which are difficult. Yeah. And now all of a sudden your threshold pace is like 7 seconds quicker.
Yeah. So I suppose I use the word threshold in a bit of a throwaway term because I actually have never had my zones tested. And Scotty, like my coach, actually said, just push the second one a bit, but we're not using it as a fitness test. Like just push that a little bit more than what you would. So that's why it's a little bit faster. And I just kind of, when I say threshold, I mean like a given effort. And I actually felt probably better in that the second 3K than the first 3K because we started the session at 6:37. So it's pretty early. And that's not warming up at 6:37. That's starting the session. And I find hills, you'll love this, are really good for activating the muscles. Isn't that right, Croaks?
It's true. Well, that's what some people think. Others don't, but yeah.
So it's when I say threshold, I just mean an effort. I don't mean actual, threshold.
You mean like it's not a rep, but it's not an easy run.
Yes.
I love that. The broad term.
It's a very broad term, but I don't know. It's worked for us, and I think he kind of, when Scotty uses threshold, he kind of knows that I know what that should be. And I don't think, because often I'm training by myself, I'm not like overdoing my training kind of thing. Because
you're not racing them.
Yeah, I'm not racing.
Where you're actually on the wrong side of it.
Exactly. And I'm always leading these reps, and it's always kind of judged on how I'm feeling. And if I'm feeling pretty crap, I'll just take it easy kind of thing. So
it's a long sesh, like over an hour.
Yeah, well, the actual session itself is 15.7K, but you've got to factor in the jogs. And the thing with hills is you can go up it, but then you got to get down it. So that's like a lot of that time is just that jog back down.
Normally double some, like the what have you been doing here? Up, nearly double the is that right? Nearly double the ascent.
I normally add about at least 30 seconds. So if I'm doing minute hills, like 90-second jog back down recovery.
Yeah,
What
I don't
are you
know
doing?
what we were.
Like 147, 152. Yeah, it's almost
Yeah.
double.
Yeah.
I think double's fine.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
I think so, because the whole point of hills is the uphill, not the downhill.
Yeah.
So it's like I never look at like what my recoveries are, because if you're feeling good, you'll jog a little bit faster. Whereas if you're not feeling good, you'll slow it down. And I think that's completely fine, because it's all about the uphill, unless you're doing, I don't know, some different stuff. So it is a long, yeah.
I think a lot of people do get that wrong, where they run distance and everything has to be, they have to turn it like into an endurance effort. So
Yeah.
rests the jogs quickly, and then like no one wants to stand still, and we'll do like long hard repeats with short rest. Fartleks are always floated instead of jogged, and like this one here, I just don't think you're getting the benefit of the workout by doing that, like you said.
Yeah, it's funny, like tonight I was chatting with Archie, like he trained with us, and we had some different sets and just a jog lap between. And I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I normally take about 3.5 to 4 minutes, just depending on how I'm feeling. Like sometimes I get to 3 minutes, I'm like, yeah, I feel recovered and good to go. But then other times it's like I'm taking 4 minutes, and it's like, I don't know, I think it's, you want to try to get that heart rate down and make sure you can hit the quality of that next rep. So it's but it is a big session, but I'm used to doing this kind of stuff. So it's yeah, it was good fun though, really good session. And just training in different spots sometimes, yeah, it's really enjoyable. But then got out for a double that afternoon, just with Rose, just down to the lake and back, which was good. So that was 37 minutes, 8.3K. And then a bit of a weird weekend, because I did a session today, which is Monday, because I'm heading on camp tomorrow. I actually did my long run on Saturday, which it wasn't too bad, but I've got a bit of a theory where I reckon on a Sunday morning, you nearly get the first like 5 to 10 Ks for free, because it's just like Sunday morning and you're with the group and you're like good vibes kind of. I don't know. Do you guys agree or?
Well, I think it's more, like distance runners are just creatures of habit. So it feels like, you should be out doing that on a Sunday. And so you sort of prepare yourself for it. Whereas then if you're doing it on a different day, it just doesn't feel right.
Why did you do it on Saturday?
Because you wanted to do a session today.
Yeah, I did a session today. So therefore I brought it forward a day. So therefore I wasn't doing a long run into a track session.
Why did you want to do a session today?
Because I'm going on school camp tomorrow, which is Tuesday morning. So we're leaving at 7 a.m.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. We did talk about this before, but that's all right. Obviously weren't listening.
When? On the podcast?
No, before you started recording, but that's okay. So I did a long run.
I didn't listen to anything you were saying.
Yeah. Did a long run on Saturday. So I did 33K. 2 hours 26, but it was good. Actually started from home and then jogged out and met Brian and Rose hour and a half in and did an hour with them. So that was actually quite a good way of doing it.
Andy, why is Rose in Bendigo?
Yeah,
so she was a place to go on a training camp.
Well, it's a great spot. So she's had this question a lot this week. I think she was meant to be going to Falls Creek, but MTC didn't go up to Falls Creek because of that landslide that's happening very slowly at the moment. So she was keen to get out of Newcastle and just kind of get into that training vibe. And like we've got plenty of rooms here in Bendigo, and she's been down here a fair bit, and she likes coming down here and training with our group. So she thought, why not come down? And there's not too many distractions in Bendigo, so it's good.
Interesting. That's good to hear that. Like she's motivated enough to go to Bendigo to train.
Yeah, no, and she's I know she's actually been training really well this week. We've got a few younger boys that were quite happy just to kind of help her out, and so she's got some good training partners. I think they're actually getting some good value, because so often like running's so much about yourself, and I think when you can give back to others, it makes it so much more meaningful in a way. So they're really enjoying that as well. So that was good. That was Saturday, sorry. And then Sunday was it was so good just going out in the long run. I went with the group, but only had to do an hour. So that felt good. So just did 14K. in the hour there, and I did 149k, and Croaks, you'll be happy with this, only 1,551 meters of elevation.
It's pretty good. That's about the same elevation that you had on the previous Sunday's long run over 27k.
It is actually. That is very true.
So Zatopek's next?
Yes, yeah. So I've entered Zatopek, and I am essentially locked in, which is good. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been doing a little bit of track stuff of late, and it's kind of been coming pretty easily and feeling pretty good, and actually feeling pretty motivated. So I'm pretty keen to get down there. I'm a bit disappointed it's at Lakeside. It's just such a vibe kill down there, but should be good.
And body's all like 100%, no niggles?
Yeah, no, I feel completely fine. So I can't remember the last, touch wood, the last little niggle I had actually. It's been a long time, which is good.
Nice one.
You don't like Lakeside Premier Track in Victoria?
Not at all. No. Does anyone like it?
I like it.
What do you like about it?
I like warming up and cooling down there. I like the grandstands. I like to watch from grandstands like that. I don't know. Maybe
How's this? They actually had, Vic Milers, they actually had 90% of the grandstand closed off because they didn't want to pay for the extra cleaning fee.
Oh, boy. So where did everyone just stand on the fence?
Well, they just sat in this little, like the first, as you walk in, they just sat on the left there, yeah. But it was just boy. Serious? Like, isn't this meant to be our track, like Athletics Victoria's track? And yeah, I don't know. I just really like Box Hill. You get in there and it's just got that intimate feel, and it's plenty of good memories at Box Hill. So,
well, you got the Box Hill people working it too, and so they're pretty good at it.
Yeah, they are.
Isn't Lakeside generally a bit windier as well?
Yes, seems to be windy, whereas Box Hill just seems to be nice and calm. I suppose that's what happens when you put a track next to a lake.
Yeah. All right, Moose, you want to tell us about your week?
Oh, yes, can do. Maybe you go first, okay?
Well, that'll take about 2 minutes. I didn't run at all. So I've still, I haven't been feeling sick, but I've still been coughing stuff up. So I'm almost over the end of that now. But also had a physio appointment on Tuesday. So went and saw him, explained exactly what had been happening, that, hurt myself on the Saturday, sort of improved enough over the next 2 days that I could walk without too much pain. But then I reckon from day 4 to day 10, there wasn't much sort of progress at all. So I just wanted to see what he thought. And after assessing me, he said that I more than likely had a small tear in my muscle, so medial sort of shin area. And he suggested you need at least sort of 2 weeks. So 2 weeks took me up until Saturday. And I wanted to test it, but back in my mind, I just knew it wasn't quite right because, if I was to hop on it for 30 seconds or whatever, it wouldn't be super painful, but there'd still be some awareness there. So I didn't run at all. Plus I figured I was still coughing stuff up. And what I didn't want to do was what I did last year with my calf. I hurt it and then took 4 days off, ran, took another 7 days off, ran, and then it was COVID that sort of made me take even longer period off. So I prefer to take, 2 to 3 weeks off and get it 100% sorted. But I did test it today, this afternoon on the treadmill, just doing 4 minute running and 1 minute rest. It was, I was able to run, but it was there.
Same spot?
Same spot. So it's not 100%, and it'll be interesting now to see just how it pulls up tomorrow. It's definitely not I haven't gone back to where it was the day that I first did it. But it's not right. It's not good to go yet. So who knows? Probably another week off, I guess.
Yeah, those calf strains in the Masters athlete, they're pretty common.
It's a real weird spot though, because it is real like low, sort of like it's just above that medial malleolus, like that bone that sticks out. It's just above there, like along sort of the shin line.
It does sound weird to be a calf strain then, doesn't it?
Yeah, he said it's sort of where like there's a couple of muscles that run up through there. So like tib post runs up through there, and I think the muscle that attaches to like your big toe, like one of the hallucis flexor or whatever it is, I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, it's sort of frustrating. Like I've enjoyed I haven't missed training like seriously. I have missed just going out for a run. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm missing. But like the positive I'm trying to take out of it was, it was mid-December last year that I hurt myself and then got COVID early January. So I pretty much didn't do anything from mid-December till like close to the end of January. So as long as I'm running in the next like couple of weeks, like I'm going to be a month ahead of where I was come like mid-January compared to where
more ahead, given that how good the year's gone for you.
Yeah, it's been a solid year. Like this is it's been really this thing's been frustrating. Just I wasn't even running fast. Like I was doing 6 minute reps on the treadmill, like 320s. Like so, it's not as if I was running fast to like tear anything.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense. But
yeah, but anyway, but like I'm okay. Like I'll be pissed off if I'm not running by like end of by the start of the school holidays or Christmas. Like then I'll be a bit pissed off because I've got 6 weeks of school holidays and I'll be able to do plenty of running and hopefully I'm not on the sidelines. So anyway, that's my week. No running.
That's not great.
No. Anyway, all good.
You do any cross training?
Not at this stage. No, I probably won't either. Just like I'm not a member of a gym anymore, and I just couldn't be asked going out riding. So, like I'm really hoping it's just another week and it's right.
Yeah, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. All right, tell us about your week.
Yeah, weather was horrid here on the Monday. I decided to jump on the treadie because of that, but also my knee was a bit sore after the Sunday run I did beforehand, a pretty hilly one, and it was good for 10K. My knee's always better on the treadie. And, so just did 10K, 4:45 pace. I went out and ran a little bit hillier on the Tuesday morning, so ran an hour basically, and that was quite good. Leg pulled up well. Felt pretty good this week. Did a workout on the Wednesday morning just around the river tracks that I've got, so they're not great place to run workouts. If anyone ever comes down, I'll show you so that you understand what I'm talking about. But 20-minute threshold I did, so I wanted to do something straight. I didn't want to do threshold intervals. I averaged 166 for my heart rate, which was about right. I reckon threshold for me is around that sort of low 170s at the moment. So to average about 166 is good because it took to get right. I hit a hill at about 5 minutes in, and that hill kicks the heart rate up to threshold pretty quickly. But without that hill, I reckon it would have taken about 6-8 minutes to get it up, which is about the amount that I normally take. And then I had 2 minutes of jogging, and I went into 20 lots of 30-second hard, 30-second jog. So just 10 minutes. I wanted the ons to be sharp enough for me anyway, and just a short rest. So I actually did want this to be more like a fartlek where the spikes in my heart rate would be pretty high. I would basically be going 1,500, 3K type effort. By the time I got up to pace, it would be pretty hard on the 30-second, and so 30 seconds of jogging after that was not enough for my heart rate to go down. So it was a tasty little workout. 30 minutes total.
They're pretty hard, those 30 seconds, because you just, like, as a runner, you get used to that rhythm, and I find 30 seconds you get going, then you got to stop again. You're like, oh shit. Like, do you find the same?
Yeah, well, change of pace is not my forte. So by the time like I get up to the velocity that I want, then I've got about 10 seconds at that, and then all of a sudden it's a very slow deceleration.
I could imagine.
It's not impressive, this fartlek of mine. But at the start, you're like, oh, these 30 seconds take a while. But at the last couple of reps, you're looking down and you're thinking, fuck, I have to go already. Because I think if you look at my heart rates towards the end, like one of the jogs, the average heart rate was higher for the jog portion than it was for the on portion. And I think that was because it got up so high towards the end that it just didn't get a chance to go down. And by the time it finally got down, I was off again.
Yeah, but that's 244K split here on one of these 30s, Moose.
Geez, that's going all right, isn't it, Croaks?
Downhill or something? What's going on there?
It says -1 metre.
That's only a metre. That's like 250. No, the gap is 247. I'm happy.
Yeah.
One of the gaps was 238. Oh,
you're back.
I should enter that 3K. That was my Wednesday. Kept rolling Thursday. Just out and back, actually, on a really nice track. So I was dropped the Pia off at my mum's house. Her and my sister looked after Pia while I went for a run. Another kind of hour. So I was progressing how far I was running this week. Instead of running like 45 minutes, I was going a bit further and just getting a little bit more mileage in. There was a workout race thing I was doing Sunday. So on Friday, I didn't do a workout. I just did a faster finish type run, 45 minutes only. And I think at like maybe 30 minutes, I just did 5-minute blocks where I got progressively quicker. Maybe not quicker, but I increased my heart rate. So I think I aimed to go like just easy pace for 30 minutes, then 5 minutes, one where my heart rate I wouldn't want it to go over 155, and then the next 5-minute block I didn't want it over 160, and then the next block I didn't want it over 165. And so that was just like a good way for me to do a progression without cooking it, and gives me a little bit of structure to my run. And yeah, I mean the heart rate, because where we're running is not a track, so like you can give splits to run, but if you're going up a big hill, they're irrelevant. So heart rate's a better gauge of how hard I'm actually running. Then on Saturday, again, just jogged, so 45, because Sunday morning Surf Coast Track Club went and did the more than a run Movember Lululemon collab relay in Geelong. So the Finisher, which is a local running group, I think they may have played a big part in organising it, but Lululemon was there, and who else was there? Like Move Pod. So just a couple of people that were involved in it. And we had 6 people do 5K each. So we ran it around the track. I did as part of a long run. The boys, we had 6 guys. Everyone kind of varied their efforts from just a tempo run to Jimmy went flat knacker. So it was good. It's good to get out there. We jogged around the track and around the area to get our long run in. It's fairly hard work. Like I did a 5K. My 5K effort started at I think about like 15K into my run, and I don't really run longer than I only run longer than 15K once a week. So by the time I got to my effort, I was pretty cooked already, or I was at least not feeling like doing a hard 5K effort. So if you look, I did do 5. The GPS was not bad on the track, 5.04, 16:12 the time it gave. Like I ran. Heart rate was like around threshold, which was about right. Although towards the end,
185.
Towards the end, we were not at threshold. I give you the tip. And if you actually have a look at the like in my Coros, you can look at the actual lap graph for the heart rate, and it is just one big mountain. So although the average may have been 174, it was too far. It was faster than threshold.
Bit of peer pressure, hey? People just pumping up the moose on the track.
Yeah, well, I said to them, do you reckon they're a bit intimidated? There's a world champs ramp here today. And this was me, like, probably the fifth slowest bloke down there, looking like an absolute. I was wearing my Movember shorts. There are 7 inches, trying to race hard around a track in 7-inch shorts, like a little bit baggy. I had to take the extra large singlet because we didn't have any larges left. I was not looking like a runner.
So on a scale of like 1 to 10, how hard was that 5K?
7. So there's not a lot of motivation to run that hard. I wanted it to be a hard effort. So I planned my week around it being a hard effort, not a threshold. So this was going to be a 5K at 5K effort in time trial mode, which is very different from 5K in race mode.
Yeah.
So
I reckon it's pretty impressive. Like, you've done an hour beforehand and then got on the track, and I'm guessing you were probably solo or something like that. It's not. I actually reckon it's pretty. Like, you look at that as a workout, and that's a pretty good 5K split. So I think you've done well.
I don't know whether you winding me up.
No, I'm being serious.
Coming from like the guy who 10 minutes ago, just rolled a 3K at the end of a training session in 8:50. Yeah. But 16:12 is pretty good.
Yeah, you have a look at Moose and mine last year, and it's a little bit different though. So
yeah, I appreciate that, Andy. I'm going to feel better about myself tonight.
Yeah.
Second fastest time of the day though. That's points. Gunther ran 15:50 something. I reckon I look better than him too doing it.
That's all that matters.
So what's coming up now, Moose? Do you got any races locked in? I know that you have entered the Berlin Marathon lottery for next year.
Lottery, yeah. Yeah, look, I was actually going to do the Collingwood Classic this Thursday night, but it sold out. So I was...
surely there's somebody that listens to this podcast that can get you a start.
Yeah, but they opened the entries again at 8 p.m. last Thursday, and I had a work gig, so I was meeting a bunch of physios and stuff, and at the time that it opened, and it sold out straight away. So yeah, I tried to get my entry in, but unfortunately not. So that would have been fun. Actually,
I've got some great news for you, Moose. One of the guys I coach actually messaged me today, and he was entered, and he can't actually run.
Yes.
B race or A race was he in?
Oh, I'm not going to say A race.
Good. B or
so
C?
Probably
B
your
C.
standard. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see if I can run under his name.
Yep.
Yeah. So if anybody from Collingwood Athletics Club's listening to this, just slide into the Inside Running Instagram DMs if you're happy for Moose to have a run on Thursday. We'll get the big Moose there.
Oh, then we'll see if that 16:12 was a time trial effort or not.
Sure. Imagine the money they'll make on ticket sales getting you there, Moose.
Or maybe beer sales afterwards. I think we're going up as a group, all the Surf Coast guys joined up, so there's going to be 4 or 5 of us there. Not all of them, but it's going to be a carload going up.
Oh, so you're going to be there regardless of getting a run?
No, I was not going to go if I wasn't running. I mean, it's on at 8:30 in Melbourne. I'm not going to go for a watch.
We'll get you there, Moose. Don't train too hard between now and then, because that'll be a hard effort for the week.
Yeah, no danger of that, mate.
All right, let's thank some Patreons. Who wants to go first?
So I'll go first. So I've got Miles Layden. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's in Abbotsford, Victoria. I have no idea where that is. I'm just going to guess it's in Melbourne somewhere. Is that right?
Hipster Central, mate. That is
really
next to Collingwood, Richmond area in there.
Yes, that's why I don't know. I don't belong there. So we've got some estimated bests on Strava for him. So he's got 17:02 for a 5K. His 10K is 34:47 and half marathon is 79:47. So they're estimated bests. We think he is a undergrad paralegal. So a bit of suits action going there. Yeah. So thanks, Miles.
That was a good series, wasn't it?
It was a good series, yeah.
Yeah, it kept like the same sort of theme just kept playing out, which I guess is a theme in all series where like there's a big threat to the getting exposed and it eventually becomes okay, but it comes back to bite them in a few episodes later, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Very much on trend with all the other series out there, but I liked it. I did.
Have you guys seen Billions or heard of Billions?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, that's another one. It's a bit more, or there's legal aspects to it, and a bit more of like the like stock market on Wall Street. So that's on Stan. So we've been watching that, and it's sort of got Suits vibes to a point where like, things that they do this episode or previous seasons come back to bite them in the arse. So I'd highly recommend Billions.
Okay, cool.
Who you got, Moose?
I've got Benji Hoppet. So Benji is from Queenscliff, New South Wales. Is that on the northern side of New South Wales?
So no, I think this is there's a suburb in Sydney, like North Shore, so around Manly Way.
Yeah, yep. 5K 1756 was parkrun. 10K 3807, the 2022 sun run.
That's a tough run in Sydney, so it's not flat, that one.
Yeah, I've heard of that actually. Where's that in Sydney? What suburb?
So it's north side as well.
Right.
North Shore. Yeah. So I think Tommy DeCano won that a few years back and ran pretty quick there, even though it's like a pretty slow course.
Okay. Benji's run 79:48 for the half at the Bay to Bay half marathon, and marathon 3:03 on debut at Canberra. That's pretty good. Think he might be a performance analyst at New South Wales Cricket and also for the Sydney Sixers Big Bash team. Oh, wow.
That'd be a pretty cool gig, I reckon.
Yeah. So what do you reckon he does then?
Well, I reckon it's sports science type stuff.
Like looking at, but what would you look at for cricket?
Training load. I don't know, technique stuff. Like biomechanics stuff.
Like, or do you reckon you'd look at specific players, like how often they've gone out versus spinner? And so
maybe. Yeah,
the captain
that's true.
would bring a spinner on for that person or something.
Yeah, it could be that as well. But I reckon, there's a fair bit of like sports science to it.
Thank you, Benji.
And I've got Ryan McMahon. So Ryan lives in Adamstown, New South Wales, which is, I think, a suburb of like Newcastle.
That is Newcastle, yep.
Yeah. I couldn't find a lot of results, but he did run 3 hours and 2 seconds at this year's Melbourne Marathon. And I believe he's been an assistant principal and years 3 to 6 sports coordinator at New Lambton Public School. So, another smart guy, assistant principal. So when are you going to be assistant principal, Andy? Moving up the ranks?
Nah, never. I'm pretty happy just being the average Joe classroom teacher.
Nice one. Yeah.
Well, how like Brady runs more than you, and he's an assistant. Oh, he's a principal, isn't he?
No.
Oh.
He was an assistant principal, but I think he was at a school that had like 2 kids or something like that. So like surely it's just can't be that hard.
He's the assistant principal of his house.
Yeah.
And he's only the assistant.
Well, thanks. Thanks to Miles, Benji, and Ryan, and thanks to all the other patrons out there. Head over if you're keen to binge episodes 1 to 7 of Road to Valencia before the boys run this Sunday. You can access that over there, and they'll be bringing out episode 8 this week. So they'll all be recording from over in Europe in the next couple of days. Blackroll share the vision to establish best practice fascial training, common pain treatment, and recovery strategies relevant for sports, human performance, corporate, and medical applications. Due to different fascia training tools and methods, their products and services are relevant across all fitness levels and life situations. Based on the involvement with scientific research, Blackroll is an innovation leader in the field of fascial training and education. Blackroll products are lightweight, durable, and optimized for best effect and practicality during everyday use, enabling people to take their well-being and performance into their own hands on a daily basis. The products are made in Germany with 100% recyclable materials and the production process is optimised towards energy efficiency and sustainability. For more information on Blackroll and their range, head to blackroll.com.au. To score yourself a discount on any purchases from the running collection on Blackroll's website, use the code INSIDE20 for 20% off at checkout. All right, running news. We spoke about this off air. There's really not a lot on at the moment. So we've got Bankstown Milers Club and the ACT 3K champs to recap. Moose, do you want to start with the Bankstown Milers Club?
Yeah, so there's a 1,500 and a 5K on. So that's a good breakdown, of distances, I reckon. Do you know, Andy, it's disappointing there's only one 3K at the Milers meet.
Yeah, they do it every year, and I don't know why, and they always do it early. And sometimes it just doesn't work, and I don't know. Thankfully, Box Hill have actually filled that gap with the Box Hill Burn or the Box Hill Classic, but it is disappointing. Yeah.
And Richmond and Collingwood have stepped up to put meets on as well.
It's so good to see. I know Collingwood this week has got that DMR, I think it is, a relay, where it's two runners. Just stuff like that. It's so good to see that popping up as different options. So there's some good results from this Bankstown Milers Club.
Yeah, it was pretty fast. So in the 5K, we had Luke Hince win the men's 14:21, his run. Second was Cameron Gorman in 14:37. Nathan Breen was third, 14:53.
That was solo too from Luke. He pretty much went from the gun, had no help whatsoever. So that's pretty good time trial.
Did you watch a stream of this, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they had it streamed. Yeah.
Aynslee Van Graan won the ladies 16:10. Looks like she might have been solo too, Croaks?
For the last part, there was a group together early on, but then she cleared out probably halfway through the race.
Okay. She beat Jessica Noble, who was 16:42, and Rosie Webber 17:18. In the 1500, Connor Whiteley ran 3:47 to beat Ben Jagger in 3:49, with Kieran Rushton 3:50. Pretty solid little runs.
Yep.
Ruby Madden ran 4:30, Amelia May 4:34, and Rosie Copper 4:36. Also pretty solid little runs too.
Yeah, they're doing good things at Bankstown Milers meets. They put them on probably 6 of them throughout the year. And they do the community 5K races as well. So just trying to bridge that gap between the recreational runners and the elite track.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you need them, don't you? Just expose people to racing.
Oh, sorry, what's their stream like, Croaks, compared to...
Yeah, good. So James Constantine and Matt Whipred, they're the two that jump on and do that. So, they're real sort of passionate about the sport up there. So, the stream's awesome.
Yeah, nice. Lovely. Next we'll chat about, I'm guessing this is the ACT state champs. Is that right?
Yeah.
Croaks? Yep. So a few people here probably using this as a good little hit out pre-Zatopek. So we had Cameron Myers actually running 8:15. So that's pretty handy. And then we had Aaron, how do you say Aaron's surname?
Spiesberger Parker.
Spiesberger Parker, yeah. So I know Aaron, just don't know how to say his last name. So he came second in 8:22. And then Drew Fryer was in third in 8:30. So pretty fast times there. I reckon I saw some stuff on Instagram where Josh Johnson was talking up a sub-8 or something like that. Did you see that, Croaks?
I did see it on Instagram, yeah, because Drew Fryer, he's from Sydney, so he came down for the race. I'm not sure whether sub-8 was ever on, and especially the conditions, it was pretty hot and windy. That's Cam's second 3K win for the season, because he won the New South Wales 3K champs in 8:10 in a pretty tactical race. So, and he's only 16.
Oh, so that's him. I've heard about him, but I didn't know his name. That's wow. That'll be interesting to see how he progresses. He'll probably be doing De Castella 3K. Is that a thing?
Yeah, you think so? Yeah, and you'd have to think he'd be one of the favourites.
Yeah, he might be. And then in the ladies, we had Leanne Pompiani in 9:09. Zoe Buckman, a bit of a blast from the past there, 9:22, and then Darcy Bell Roberts in 10:09. So Leanne's obviously moving pretty well, and you'd have to say she could be one of the favourites for Zatopek, I reckon, in the women's race.
Yeah, she's going well. She's up in Perisher at the moment. So they've been up there for probably like a week and a half, and they drove down that morning. So they ran up there in the morning, drove down, raced, and then did their long run again up there like late Sunday morning.
Yeah, wow.
So just a quick trip down from the mountain.
Yeah, right. Obviously paying off for him, first and second.
Yeah, yep. She's going, so Land's had a really good year, so it'll be interesting to see what she does at Zatopek. That's it for the running news. Like, I couldn't really think of any other major events that have happened around the place, either domestically or internationally. So we'll go to list a question, and we might do a couple of them. All right, leading into summer, do you think it's good to avoid the heat and sun by getting up earlier or running in the late afternoon and using the heat for further gains? If so, would you do your easy runs and sessions in the Arvo or one over the other? And that question comes in from Ben Percival. Good question given this time of year.
Yep. It is. And I think Moose is going to be the expert here, so we might let him go first, and you and me, Croaks, can get it all wrong, and then he can say how stupid we are. But I don't know. I'm a massive fan of going early because I think most runners overtrain, and training in the heat of the day is just such a big stress on your body, and it's so hard to recover from it. You get so much more dehydration. So I don't think it's actually worth the gains. I think you actually just dig yourself into a hole. So I don't think it's worth using it for heat gains unless you are preparing for a hot marathon or a hot race or something like that. But I think it's definitely worth going early in the morning. That's the best time to run during summer.
Yeah. I think it depends on the session and what you and the event that you're training for a little bit. If I was training for a marathon and obviously like your reps are longer, the time that you're out there is longer, I would definitely go in the morning to get it done. If I'm a 1,500 meter track runner and I'm doing 400 meter reps in the heat, like I wouldn't be as concerned doing that in the afternoon when it's hot. But if I'm training for probably anything longer than a 10K, the type of training and the type of sessions that you're doing, I'd much prefer to get those out of the way in the morning and then go for my second jog in the 35, 40 degree heat as a heat gain. There's obviously less stress going out for a very slow jog in that sort of heat than there would be doing a session.
Yeah, most people do overcook running in summer. And I think a lot of our listeners work outside too, which means they've already spent the day in the sun, which makes running after work near on impossible, really, considering 8 hours of just sun exposure with also manual labor. That is so hard. I've got a lot of respect for guys that can do that. I think leading into summer is the time that you would get up and you wouldn't be too worried about the heat. So early exposure at the start of summer will actually condition you to handle the heat throughout summer a lot better. I think if you avoid the heat at the start of summer and then you're forced to have to train for whatever reason through some warmer days in summer, you won't be able to handle it if you've kind of been avoiding it by running super early, like in late November through December. So I think it's actually quite a good strategy to get out there in the hotter days leading into summer. But I do think you've got to look at the purpose of your run and decide whether the actual extra stress of heat is going to be detrimental to the purpose of your workout. And if the workout is a recovery run, if it's proper recovery, say it's the Monday after a hard long run or the Wednesday after a hard track session, then I would prefer that to be done without heat stress. But if it's just an aerobic run, maybe in between those days, where it's not a proper recovery run, then you can add heat stress for sure. I don't think, there's limits though. There's going out for an hour and a half in 40 degree weather versus running for 45 minutes in 30 degree weather. So you've got to be smart about it.
And also, we can probably take this a little bit further. And I know this is the time of year where when I send out my athletes programs, I obviously give them sort of rough paces for sessions, but I'm like, hey, just remember that these are a guide and are based on, you having pretty good conditions. So like, if I'm basing it on their last result, and their last result was like 10, they're running in 10 degrees, no wind, and then they're now going out and training in, 25, 30 degrees. Like, it's going to be much harder, or perceived effort is going to be much harder to hit those paces than it would have been in those ideal conditions. So don't be a slave to the GPS in summer, because you will cook yourself. Yes, like, your sessions may actually be not as impressive for the next 3, 4, 5 months. So focus a bit more on effort. But then when you come out the other side into autumn, like, then you realize how fit you are.
Yeah, and I actually have, this will be interesting, because I know I'm not going to do it for the marathon, but let's look at 10K times. So I'm going to plug in 10K time. Andy, what's your PB?
I actually don't know. 28, 20 something?
As if he doesn't know, Christ. Fucking hell. I'll plug in 28.20, and let's look at the temperature, like at the effective temperature. And this is Jack Daniels has a bit of a calculator. So your optimal temperature for running the 10K is about 16 degrees. And now let me throw it. So say you've got a hot Zatopek, right?
Yeah.
When it's 29 degrees, the adjusted time is 29:24. That's
6 seconds
a fair bit, right? Like that goes from you having a really good day to having a really slow day.
Yeah, and I actually remember Zatopek last year was a hot and humid one, whereas when I ran my PB was that one at Box Hill, which was like perfect conditions. So
yeah.
But how many times, Moose, do you see people go, my PB's like, say, 28, 30, and it's still 29 degrees?
Absolutely.
And they're like, all right, I'm going to go, like, I'm in good shape. I want to run a PB. And as you said, like, their adjusted time is probably more like 29:20, but because they go out at PB pace for the first maybe 3 or 4K, they end up running 30:20.
Especially when you look at this, from 16 degrees running 28:20 to 21 degrees 28:45, and I don't think anyone's making pace adjustments for 5 degrees of temperature. I like, Andy, you get to Zatopek, are you changing your race plan or your expectations based on 5 degrees?
No, not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't even think about it.
We should be. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
This is going to be a little head fuck for Brady, but I'm going to put the marathon in, and let's just chuck in 2:19. What's his PB? 2:19.52.
Yeah.
Yep. 2:19.52, and he ran that. It was a fairly warm day. I don't think it was over 16, maybe 18 it was. So 16, he's run 2:19.52. Let's say it gets up to 21 by the end of Valencia. 2:21.58. That's 2:22. That's like, he's not happy with that anymore. He's not happy leaving Valencia, and he can't claim it's hot because, boys, I've run a marathon in Doha. It ain't that hot. Let's do it reverse. Let's put in 2:19.40 for 48 degrees, which is what it was when I ran.
48.
I reckon I'm a 2.6 man. Anyway, I think like these calculators, they're quite like they're a reality check, I reckon.
I reckon you've done that calculation before, haven't you? You've told yourself it was 45 degrees and you go, oh yeah, I'm actually a 204 guy.
Could you imagine Moose at the pub? Someone says, oh, this is Julian. He ran at the World Championships and his PB is like 2:14. But like, hey, look at this calculator. When I put my PB in and it was actually 32 degrees that day, I'm really a 2.6 man.
Yeah, 3 years later, 5 degrees each year, it gets warmer. Don't worry about that.
Well, it looks like Valencia on Sunday. It's a low of 10, top of 17. So that shouldn't be too much of a hassle for the boys, especially coming, they've had a few warm days here since like before they left. So
yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, it's no excuse weather.
All right, good question. I enjoyed discussing that one. Let's do one more. Worst chafing you've ever had, and that came in from Patrick Doherty.
Yeah, fuck, I am a chafer. Like, I'll go out for a 20-minute run when it's 10 degrees and there's no like rain or sweat, and I'll come back with chafing and crutch. It's always in my crutch. So like there's something about my skin where it just likes to like blister up. It's not my best trait, chafe. The worst example, I reckon, getting in the shower after this big ultra marathon I did, and I don't think I put on enough body glide, or there was like, it was 10 hours worth. And at that point, like, you wear a pack, and so stuff rubs that you would never expect to rub. And like 6 hours in, you're like, fuck, what's that rubbing? And then another 4 hours later, that rubbing's turned into full on like open wound. But the crutch for me is always the worst. I know I'll turn around. I'll turn the car around if I've forgotten to put anti-chafe on. I'll turn around, drive back to the house and put it on, because that's how much I chafe. And I can't think of any like specific examples where it's been that horrid, because there's been so many.
Yeah, right. I reckon I've only ever had it like slightly on the nipples, and I've only noticed it like once you get into the shower and you're like, oh shit, what's that? But that's just been like a few, like I reckon, not even in my marathons. Actually, no, a little bit in when I did Com Games, because that singlet was slightly heavier, whereas kudos to Ernie Old with their singlets, don't get any chafing at all. So I'm pretty lucky by the sounds of it.
I haven't had bad chafing for years either, mainly because I just think I'm so prepared for it now. So like if I'm running a marathon, like I tape up my nipples, so that's never an issue. And like I often wear tights now if it's going to be wet, or if I think I'm going to chafe. Where it sort of catches me out sometimes is like the first like hotter, humid day, where I'm just out for like my 90-minute run or whatever and just wearing a shirt. And in winter, it's not an issue. But then you get that sort of first hot, humid day. By the end of 90 minutes, I'm like, oh, yeah, my nipples are just a little bit sort of sore. But I haven't had anything bad for years. I reckon when I was doing triathlons, I used to get some pretty bad chafing from the wetsuit up around my neck. When so like, because you're turning your head so much, and those full suit, the full like length wetsuits, they just like, if you're out there swimming for a couple of kilometers, it chafes pretty bad through there.
Let's just hit the pause on this for a second, because what are we, episode 265? I don't think you've ever said that you had triathlon days.
He's been too scared to bring it up.
I've never heard this.
Well, they didn't last. So it was when I guess I started running year 10, year 11 at school, and at the same time started doing some triathlon. So I used to do a little bit end of high school, and then I did a half Ironman triathlon when I was I just finished high school, so I was 18. And that was the last triathlon I ever did. And then I just focused on running, because the run leg was always like my best. Like I could swim okay, and like I was never that great on the bike, but the run was, where I was making up places. I thought, you know what, I'll just focus on the run. So yeah, I did do some triathlons, but they're all over by the time I was 18.
A lot of things starting to make a lot more sense.
Back to chafing. Have you heard of? So the best chafing story I've ever heard is the Sean Crichton Berlin Marathon chafing story. Have you guys ever heard that one?
No.
Nah, go bring it.
All right. So he was over in Berlin, and he wore a brand new pair of shorts. So had never been through the wash before, and got to about the 35K mark, and he started to get chafe on his knob. So in the last few kilometers, he's pretty much, so this is the day that he ran 2:10:20. He's got chafing on his knob, and he's pretty much got like one hand down his pants to try and like keep the short away from his dick. And so could you imagine that? Here's a guy running 2:10 through the streets of Berlin. He's got one hand down his pants.
That's a great story.
So That's the Shawnee Crichton Berlin chafing story.
What about there's a photo getting round from a marathon where instead of putting tape or like anti-chafe balm on his nipples, the guy has just cut big holes in his singlet, and so his nipples just hang free. So he's wearing like a singlet with 2 holes cut out, so you can all you see is nipples.
That's great. That reminds me of the Gold Coast winner, the Japanese guy from 3 years ago. He was wearing an all-white singlet, and I actually when he come past me, I thought he had like the Japan flag and something else, but it was actually these big blood stains around his nipples, and you're like, oh man, that's gonna sting.
Fuck yeah. And then he ran back to the hotel with it.
Really?
Yeah, I might have changed his clothes, but he ran back to the hotel after that.
Well, the moral of the story for listener questions this week is be cautious in the heat and prepare yourself so you don't have chafing.
Yeah, and on that, there's what do you use? So Vaseline's a no. Don't start with that because that's gunky. It's gross. Fucks all your clothes up. It doesn't breathe, so it's like it doesn't help with sweat. So there's 2 products that I use. One's Body Glide, which is like a balm, and the other is 2 Tom Sports Shield, which is like it's like a roll-on deodorant style setup, and it's more it's not as balmy, like it's more of a slick, and that's the best one I've ever used ever.
So if we were looking to buy some of this stuff, Moose, where could we possibly buy it from?
Well, there's probably a few locations around Victoria, but the spot where you get the most premium service is the running company Geelong. Speaking of that, Andy, I've actually posted you some shoes today. You should get them tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Pair of New Balance. Pair of New Balance more.
So shouldn't bring up Cyber Monday deals then, Moose.
Mate, we're just talking. Andy's got a pair of New Balance Moors coming to him, big cushion shoes. Hopefully they don't give him an injury because he's going okay.
Oh, thanks, Moose. I look forward to seeing them.
Well, yeah, hopefully they get there. Bendigo's a ways away.
Yeah, I don't know if there's actually shoes coming now or not.
Yeah, well, I'll have to post them tomorrow now. Make sure.
Get Brady to post them.
Someone will post them.
All right, Moose. Moose on the loose. Purchase of the week.
Purchase. Yeah, I mean, what have I bought lately? I bought some. You know what I bought from Black Friday? Dog food. I'm like, if I buy some dog food, it means I don't have to go to the pet store for 2 more batches. So I bought 2 things of dog food.
But what about that? What about the poor bloke who owns the local pet shop?
Yeah, Pet Stock. They're good. That's who I bought it from, though.
Oh, okay.
So Pet Stock, Ballarat company. The family used to shop at our store, and they were great. And they always had a really good feel to the company. Like their headquarters were there. I used to like their vibe. So Pet Stock's my choice, and I go back to that store because of that. Because they had such a good experience with the company in Ballarat. I go to the Geelong one now. So yeah, they're a good. I got some pet food and I'm tightening the purse strings, Croaks, because November, it's not the busiest month for the running company. So we tighten the purse strings in November. There's not a lot of purchases.
But then you'd have a big December, wouldn't you?
December is better, yeah, because the weather's nicer and people are out exercising more, and all of a sudden we start selling some gift cards. So don't be shy in hooking up your friends. They'd love a gift card, by the way. People out there, just give us a call. Send us a text on Instagram.
Nothing pissing you off, Moose?
Oh, there's always stuff that's pissing me off. Is there anything lately that we've talked about on the chat?
Not really. I saw something come up on Facebook chat today about coaches who have a coaching accreditation with AA having to pay for a pass for national all schools.
That's a bit niche. That's a little bit niche. I don't know the politics of that one quite enough. I mean, I get pissed off with these days the coaching world where everybody's a coach. So every personal trainer is now a running coach, and they're doing technique coaching too. So they're going to teach you how to run on your forefoot. Everyone that's done one basic day of course of running training somewhere is now a coach, and they're charging big money for online coaching. Or someone coached their brother or their sister to run the marathon at Melbourne, and they made the start line and ran the race, and they got fitter from the start to the end, and all of a sudden now they're a running coach. There's a lot of pseudo coaches out there, and I think people underestimate the influence a coach can have. It's a lot more than just giving out training programs. It's not like coaching should be someone that you trust, that you can have like a big influence on someone's health, more than just their physical health. If you injure someone, then the consequences can go for a very long time on that person, physically and mentally. So, yeah, I just maybe warn people to consider what they're doing before they go advertising their services to the general public.
All right, good one. That pretty much wraps up our show. A little bit shorter this week than normal. I guess when my training week goes for about 2 minutes, that will shorten the week a little bit. What's coming up? There's a bit coming up actually in the next week. We got the Albie Thomas Mile, which doubles up as the Aussie Mile Champs. So that will be live streamed on either like Bankstown Athletics, New South Wales Athletics, or AA, one of those three. We have Valencia Marathon. So Brady, Toby, and Kristian. So those that have been following the Road to Valencia series. Episode 8 will be out this week.
Brad, sorry, they're racing this Sunday.
Yes, this Sunday.
We need predictions.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that. I was going to say, send those three boys some love. And I guess from all of us, hope they all run really well. They've certainly been training well. Predictions. You go first then, Moose.
Oh, me. So, yeah, it's been good to follow on Road to Valencia and hear the boys training. It's sort of three kind of different builds, I guess. It's always insightful. It's good to hear Brady on the other podcast as well. Has to do a bit more work there, I reckon. Those boys don't quite carry him like we do. Yeah. I'm gonna say Brady. He's gonna run 2:18 low because that'll be a good result. I reckon he'll the marathon. People give out marathon times too easy. How often do you nail the marathon that you're supposed to? It's very rare that someone goes into a marathon. I know he's fitter than low 2:18. I know he's fitter, but it's just rare that he will actually, that anyone can run what their actual potential is on the day. So I'm going to say 2:18 low, but he is fitter and has the potential to do more. Kristian, he's going to run 2:24. And that's not against Kristian, but his lead in the last 2 weeks have been shit. I don't think this is the way you run your fast marathon, the way he's come off.
Since Berlin, really, he hasn't done a lot.
So he's going to go out at 71 and he's going to run 73 for the second half, maybe 73.30. So 2:24.30 for Kristian. Toby, mate, this is Toby. Toby's fit again. He's only run 2 marathons, so I think that's working against him a little bit. I think he needs a few more under the belt. I think his race depends a lot on what the women do. And if there's a pack that goes out around 2:16, then I think that's where he wants to be, or that's where I would want him to be. I'll chat with him, obviously. He'd probably hear this before I chat to him. And I think him kicking down off that ladies pack would be ideal. And even with ladies that go a bit quicker the second half, you can get 2:15 girls there. That could be perfect for him to come home with a bit of a negative split there. That's my predictions. Well, that's not a prediction for Toby, but that's what I want to happen.
You got any predictions, Andy?
Oh, I haven't been paying too much attention. I haven't been listening, so
maybe for Brady.
For Brady, what's your PB, Brad?
2:17.28.
I reckon he's going to just sneak under that.
He should.
Yeah. So that's what I'll be hoping for. And I reckon probably Toby will be a little bit ahead of him. Yeah, Kristian, who knows? He'll probably be behind him, but yeah.
So I think I said a few weeks back that I thought Brady should run like anywhere from 2:16:30 to low 2:17s, like based on what he's been doing in training. And yeah, Toby, like a little bit quicker than that, so somewhere in that sort of 2:15 to 2:16 range. And Kristian, yeah, low 2:20s. Like I know he's gunning for this sub 2:20, but I just don't think given. I think in the lead up to Berlin, I think that was he was in shape to do that. But I just don't think you can expect to hold that sort of shape with what he's done since Berlin. So hopefully he proves me wrong. But yeah, low 2:20s for Kristian.
So do you like the Brady prediction's tough because he is definitely in shape to run faster than what he had. Like if you go back and look at my 2:16:30 race or whatever it was, his training is so much more advanced than what I was doing. But there's just such a gap between people's marathon training and the marathon results, don't you think? Have you?
Yeah.
Like you see that all the time.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think what hurts Brady is the first few marathons he did, he thought they were going to be easier than what they were, and he's kind of a bit scarred from them. So I think he's waiting to hit the wall in his mind, and he's never had a good marathon. And I think he doesn't get anywhere near his potential because he just keeps falling back into those previous experiences, which would be really hard to, because if that's all you've ever felt, it's really hard to come up with something different. But it's, I don't know. You need everything to go right, and I just don't think he's. I think he's definitely capable, and his fitness is so much better than what he could run. And I really hope he does have a good one, and because he's had a great year this year, and it's been a really different year for him. And I think he's really pulled back on his running, which is what he's kind of needed to do. So hopefully he has a good one. But it's just, I don't know. It's easier said than done to say that, just looking at their training compared to what actually happens on race day.
The reason why I think he will run a good one this time is I just think like he's a different athlete to his previous marathons. I feel like this year, like 3:15 kilometre pace now for him, I feel like he's very, very efficient at that compared to what he was a few years ago. And I also feel like he has addressed maybe the strength component, which, always sort of, that's probably what brought him undone, was the back end of those marathons. Whereas now, like you look at his training block, look how many like 3-hour runs he's had, stuff like that. I feel like he's a more efficient runner at faster paces, but also a stronger athlete.
And he has raced sensationally too, hasn't he? Like every race he's raced it nearly perfectly. He's executed everything so well. So if we follow the series of his racing over winter, then he should execute this at a very high level.
I think him going through like 68:30-ish, that based on how fast he's been running over 10 and even like half, like that should feel pretty comfortable for him. And I reckon he should be able to then just roll that again for that sort of 2:17.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you put it like that, sounds easy, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Jeez, it'd be a fail if you didn't do that.
Yeah, so those, as I said before, those that want to go and binge on the last 7 episodes, go over to Patreon, and then you can work out what your predictions are based on all their training. We've also got Fukuoka Marathon on Sunday, so Brett Robinson is running there, and Jack Rayner will be pacing. And the other one is the CIM Marathon. Is that Los Angeles, Moose? That's California, Sacramento. Isn't it? Sacramento, yeah. So and I think Ed Goddard might be running in that one.
It's an odd call from Ed though, given the race is net downhill. It's in the illegal bracket where it won't count for records or qualifying times. So it makes no sense to me why you would do that.
Well, especially at the level he's at now, where it's about trying to I guess, qualify for, Aussie teams, which to do that, you either have to run a legal time or rely on points. And do you get can you still get points through this one?
I doubt it because it's not a legal or a recognised race.
So it'd be a shame for him to have an absolute blinder and then you go, maybe I should have done Fukuoka instead, and have it actually count.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe you can reach out to Ed and get his thoughts on it.
All right, I'll do that within the next week. Andy, what do you got coming up? School camp and then Zatopek. Anything else exciting?
No, I was just going to mention that Sinead's also running Valencia as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Croaks, fuck, mate.
Well, you were doing predictions. Where was your prediction, Moose?
Oh, yeah. Sinead's gone under the radar with this, though. Good, Andy.
She has.
Good by Andy.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's going to run really well. I think when you guys had her on and you mentioned that she's going to be running with the males, this is going to be the first time she's going to have that for a long time. Compared to just the females only, and was chatting to her the other day, and she seems like she's ticking along really well, and she's been in London kind of training, so it's I think she'll have a blinder.
Well, if Brady was here, he'd be dishing out the Aussie record right now because he loves doing that. Running Aussie record.
I was speaking to Ali though on the weekend, and she said the same thing as you, Andy. She goes, Sinead is going to have a really good one.
Yeah, I reckon she will.
You're going to give her the Aussie record, Moose?
No, I'm not, because you can't just give them out like that. And the chances are against her for breaking an Australian record, but I think she'll have a good one.
2:23:30?
I haven't seen her training or anything, so.
I'll go 2:23:30.
Yeah, all right, I'll go. No, I can't. I haven't seen one training session she's done, so I'm sorry.
Heard she's on the show.
Yeah,
he wasn't listening.
I do listen to that guest, not like this one. I'm going to say 2:24 low is still a brilliant run. 2:24 low.
All right, so big weekend of athletics coming up, both here and abroad. Moose, what do you got? Collingwood on Thursday?
Yeah, perhaps we'll see. And then I've got the Lara Fun Runs on this Sunday, just north of Geelong. So we sponsor that. We're going to go out there and have a marquee. Apparently there's going to be good weather this weekend. So I'm not going to race it because I'll be working. But it'll be good to get out and get amongst the running community, fun runners.
Very good. Well, enjoy. Thanks again for joining us for episode 265. We'll be back next week. We haven't locked in our guest host, but then after next week. Oh, we have? We've locked it in? Yeah. All right. Should we tell them who it is?
Ellie.
Yeah. So Ellie's on again next week, where we'll be recapping Valencia. So thanks again, Andy, for filling in. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Andy.
All the best for Zatopek.
Thanks, boys.
This episode of the Inside Running Podcast is brought to you by Blackroll, innovation leaders for simple but effective tools that empower you to take your health and performance in your own hands. Head to blackroll.com.au to learn more about their range used by the best athletes in the world.
Keep on